part of the quadrant. No, I would suggest that you might want to look into some technical skills. Notice we have locked down for almost like 38 days, and now we are releasing. Throughout the 38 days, have you picked up a technical skills that you are able to make yourself to earn a better living right after the release? Now, some of you might say that, okay, I want to start to sell something to make quick money. Have you gone through a process of empowering your sales and persuasive skills? So if you put your quadrant over here, potentially these are the things that you might want to look into. Okay. Okay. Now, what if, right? If you have put yourself in the classes of wealth, means that potentially financially you are free. And in fact, there are many people have this financially free situation, right? And what are they looking for at the next move? So during this pandemic, to them, potentially they are looking at who and what can I do to get more connections? Because if their intention is move towards power, most likely they would like to serve a community or they want to connect with more people. So during this period, during the lockdown, if you have selected well, my question to you is, have you called or video conference most of your friends?
Cannot hear.
You can't hear? Hello, can you hear now?
I can.
You can hear?
Can.
Yeah, okay. So basically my question to you is, during this period when you are in the website, have you called enough of your friend to create that kind of connection? So when pandemic is released or MCO released, right, you will generate the more connection. Now, in my experience for the last 38 days, although physically we are not able to get in touch with each other, right, we are not able to touch you, right, we are not able to feel you to the extent that we are not able to hug each other. Yet during these 38 days, right, we are able to video conference. I'm able to see you. I'm able to hear you. And what I've learned throughout these 38 days, right, through the seeing and hearing, my imagination goes wild. And the interesting thing is, when my imagination goes wild, that creates my knowledge. So during this period, have you done enough of connecting with your friend? Right. That could be something that you might want to ask yourself. Now, some of you, right, might have reached the power side, right, which you have gained a huge community of trust within the community. You are one of the top leaders in the industry or within your community. So in my experience, my research, that most of the time when people have more power, they tend to give back to the society. So if you notice that during this period, a lot of charities works have been donated by all these successful people with powerful, right? People like Bill Gates, right? He's so powerful in such a way that he start to research the vaccine. What are the vaccines are able to cure COVID-19? So if you are in this quadrant, right, these are the people that might want to look onto what else, what are the knowledge they want to empower themselves. Okay. Now let's come to the last quadrant. Then this is interesting. When I start to do the analysis research, I noticed that if a country have more middle class population, right, means that our knowledge have grown. Right. And when I start to put all my case studies to map it into a quadrant, I noticed that majority of us, in fact, have knowledge. We are here. So interestingly, right, the key thing is we have all the knowledge, yet do we know where are we heading to? And a lot of times we might want to move to basic needs again. During this particular lockdown, this period, in fact, for myself, I'm quite confused. Where do I want to heading to? Or should I continue with the knowledge to empower myself? This was the most moment that I start to ask myself a lot of questions. Right? And I believe that many of you does feel the same situation. What is going to happen when this thing releases? So what I can suggest is engage a coach or continue to experience and rediscover yourself. Rediscover, it can be in the space of having more knowledge. Right? It can be in the space of what they call, talk to your coach, and your coach might be able to reflect what's inside of you. Okay, let me just go to the next slide. The system is a bit slow here, even though I press. Okay, then now what we have covered now is where are you now? Right. So notice if I put the glasses side by side, it's like a sequential things, which is not. So a lot of time we got to look at ourselves in different dimension, different perspective. When I place the glasses in the 4-quadrant place, that's where you start to view it in a more holistic way. Means that I'm pulling you to a higher context to look at where are you now. So let's quickly look at one of the results. Alicia, you want to announce the result? What are the percentage of people that select 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Okay, for who select 1, we have 25 packs, 2 19 packs, 3 10 packs, and 4 23 packs. So overall, we can say that most of our participants select 1.
1, the basic needs.
Yeah,
Right.
basic needs.
Interesting, and most of you are selecting basic needs. Right. So my real question now is, where are your emotional response to? Like, who are you responding the emotional to? Right? Is it to yourself or to others, or the environment are shaping you there? Very high chances is you are aware of it. Right? Because most of us do notice our being. Right? Unfortunately, of the 3 things can affect us. One is the environment, the current environment impact. Right? When most of you choose basic needs, it's your environment that impacting you this. Right? And I noticed many of you also choose the knowledge. Right? Means that you know enough. So where are you moving towards? Where are you going to? So my key question here is, who are you emotionally responding to? So we are aware, just that a lot of times our conscious does tell us that this is who we are. Unfortunately, many of us just unsure that is it right or wrong, is it true or false. So second thing that I would want you to explore is potentially go and do some assessment. There are many assessments in the market, right? So there are psychometric tools, there are biometric tools. For us, we provide biometric tools. Yeah? Go and explore and experience yourself with some of the assessment tools in the market. Now again, when you try most of the assessment tools, one of the questions you've got to ask yourself is, are these opinions or facts? Right. What do I mean by opinion or facts is like, a lot of times when you do question and answer, you notice that when you answer a series of questions, your brain at the back, right, are recalling some of the experience and knowledge that you have and start to answer the question. And sometimes you might say that I can fake the answer. Yet, you got to decide whether these are opinions or facts. Why I say that is important, because if you believe these are facts, you will take drastic action to go towards it. Yet, if you thought that these are just opinions, so it's very difficult for you to take the next action. So I will encourage you to go for more assessment. Otherwise, go and engage a coach. A great coach will work on your being. A great coach will reflect your behavior, will reflect your characters. A coach is not somebody who tell you what to do, how to do it. A coach is to reflect you, right, and empower you in your being so that you can move forward to the next stage. So once you have rediscovered yourself and get yourself aware, make that choice. Choice is the most critical. And my next question to you is, what do you want to be? Now, you have answered that, where are you now? Right. Now, I want you to put in your checkbox. Okay, let me just, in your checkbox, which glass you want to fill up now? There are 4 classes. It could be basic needs. It could be a well. Somebody can unmute yourself because of the noise behind. I think somebody has came in and okay, thanks.
All.
Okay, have you? Are you able to hear me? Okay, I hope you can hear me and continue. Okay, so I want you to go to the checkbox in the next 10 seconds, right, and select one of the numbers. Which class you want to fill up now? Basic needs, wealth, power, or knowledge? Now again, do not fill up all. You can only have one choice. Okay. So just put in the chat which glasses of water you want to fill in at this moment.
3.
Nice.
Since I can't write.
Yeah, I saw here 3 there.
4.
Okay. So what I have put you into a process is, first I create awareness within yourself. Right? Which classes are you now? Which classes have you filled up? Then at this junction, I want you to make a choice. Right? Only select one of the 4 classes. Do not select all 4. Just select one of the 4 classes to make that choice. Now, during this process here, right, you kind of have some emotional turbulence inside of you. A lot of us does have that. Right? And I can classify it into 2 categories. One is depression. When you start to make that choice, or you start to say which classes should I go, our brain might recall back some of the experience or negative or bad experience that we have. Right? And you are so clear on the experience that trigger the depression inside of you. Right? So depression is just to relate that a person keep on recalling back the old memories, which most of the time is a negative or disempowering experience. Right? So that will be a major blockage to making that choice. And some of you might have that anxiety, right? For example, I want to select the class of power. Yet, what if I do not, I'm not able to have enough money? So what's going to happen in future if I do not have money? So that is anxiety. Anxiety is something that a person who pays the future. So the question to us is, Who predict the future? And interestingly, no one can predict the future. Yet, a lot of times we worry on the future. That creates a lot of anxiety. And it's going to happen at this moment. Because on Monday, many of us are going back to the office. I'm going to step out on our house. Right? And you notice that the entire environment has shifted in the new normal. Especially the fear coming from inside. Why is it fear? I remember when I was walking off to this supermarket to start to buy some of my grocery, I did not wear a mask. And when I was in that grocery supermarket, I noticed everyone was wearing a mask. And literally, I could not see smiling faces from everyone. To the extent that I even saw people that they wear gloves. They are so protective. And the entire environment, society has shifted. So when you step out on Monday, potentially a lot of things will be very different. And same thing, at this moment, that which glasses of water you're going to choose. Now, let me just quickly review the statistic that how many people have chosen. One of the good signs is basic needs. There's only have 2 packs that selected it. Right? So if your decision is choose basic needs, right, you got to be very, very strong when you step out of your house emotionally. Right? You got to be very empowered because the world is going to be very different. Yet there's a huge opportunity for you. There are 13 packs of us have selected classes 2, which is wealth, money, so-called money. Yes, this is one of the good quadrant glasses of water you want to go towards. And again, leverage on your skills. Everyone have a strength and have a good skills. Right? Maximize your skills at this moment. Right? Empower your emotions, and you're going to make a successful. And 13 packs of us have selected quadrant 3, which is the power, the glass of power. Means that you have decided to move on. Right? What you need is a connection. And you're not going to go into the same old way of having a cup of coffee in front of a person because of the social distancing. So there will be new ways of you to connect to another human being, at least for the next 3 to 6 months, to the extent that some country might extend it to a year. This already depends on where you are. And 22 of you, right, majority have chosen the knowledge. In fact, it is during the last 38 days when we are locked down, that is the best moment, right, to pick up more knowledge. So the good news is most of us have decided where we want to go. And the new normal is here. We call it O2O. I'm not sure whether many of you have heard of it. Right? But it's happening now. O2O means offline to online. So this is a typical advertisement is created a couple of years ago by Cisco. Right? When I was watching this advertisement, that moment, I was asking myself, will this come true? Right? So during this COVID-19 lockdown, I start to review what's my thought during the last couple of years. Then I start to realize that things are happening at this moment. Right? In fact, our behavior got to move from online move from offline to online. Let me give you an example. Famous Amos, my most favorite chocolate cookies. Why I love Famous Amos? Because whenever I walk into an airport, and majority of the airport in in the countries, in other countries, there are these famous Amos, right? And normally, I will not see the logo. Somehow, I smell the cookies so nice, right? And because of the smell, it attracted me, right, to go and buy that cookies. Now, during this period, even after they release the pandemic, the lockdown, chances are we are not going to go to a lot of shopping malls or places like this to get the smell of it. And yet, these are famous Amos, they start to provide online delivery. Now, again, this is interesting. When I look at this advertisement, I'll ask myself, what will attract me to buy famous Amos? Because I could not smell it. Right? I couldn't see the physical cookies, because normally right after they bake, they will pour out to the counter and you can see the smoke is still coming out. Right? So that will attract me to buy the cookies. Yet, we got to be very innovative and think of new ways to attract buyers. So one of the way I found very interesting for famous Amos is when I go and search on the internet, I realized that there are people that teach me how to bake the same type of cookies that I like. So it's the process that will bring us into it. So if you are the one who select knowledge, you potentially you have that knowledge to do something that you are good at. The question is, what else can you do differently to attract people towards you? So if I use famous Amos as this typical example is, they will show the entire recipe and even they show you the entire baking process over at the internet. This is what I call from offline to online. So this is something that you might want to think of during this period. Now the future is here. If you go to any webinar at this moment, there are many of webinars nowadays outside. They are talk about the future, which is true. In fact, I would dare to say that it's already here. So the most critical thing is, have you made that choice? To make that choice, a lot of times, right, it's all your anxiety, right, and even your depression that will kick in. All the emotion will start to kick in inside of you. So, great. What we have covered today is basically the 4 glasses of water. First is the basic needs, the way you think. Right? The way you think that I need this, I need that. We have also covered the wealth, the classes of wealth, the way you interact with reality. We also cover the power, the classes of power, the way you reach for the stars. Right? And many of us also get to realize the knowledge, the way you respond to life. My 3 simple steps to you is, first, create awareness. Get to aware which glasses of water that you already fill up with water. In regards whether it's half filled or full or even just started. Then make that choice. Which glasses that you want to fill next. If you only fill halfway of that first glass, you might want to continue to fill the same glass again. And the most challenging part is, although you create the awareness and even the choice for you to move forward, the last most challenging task is take actions. Actions will only create clarity. And this is the most difficult process, because during the whole process in taking that particular action, especially when you walk out from your house on Monday morning, trying to go to the work, when you get into the bus or into the subway, potentially people will be wearing a mask. you will not be seeing the same smiling face that you saw the last couple of months. You might see only eyes, right? Or you might feel the social distance, the fear of getting closer to each other. So during the process, when you're taking actions towards your choice, there will be a lot of emotion inside of you. And very interesting, these are the emotions. A lot of us thought that it can be seen, it can be felt. So what exactly is emotions? People might come to me and say, oh, it's like happy, sad. In my research, whenever you are able to express emotions, these are not emotions, they are just feelings. Emotion is something that vibrates inside, that you feel discomfort. For example, if I went, remember I told you the story that I went to this supermarket, everyone was on mask. I couldn't see who they are. Even if as friends, I have no ideas. Right? Now, remember in the old days, when you walk into a bank, if you put on a mask, the security guard will ask you to remove that mask, right? Because they want to see the real you. But yet, at this moment, when you walk into the bank, no one will come approach you to ask you to remove that mask. And when you walk into the bank, I potentially will have the fear. Are these the real people? Or these are the so-called robberies or things? So all kind of emotion were coming out, which you might not be able to express it. And exactly the question is, what is emotions? Now that part of, I'm not going to cover what is emotions, right? So if potentially I will go to the next webinar, could be next week. I will have another session just to express and tell you more what is exactly is emotions. And the most important, I will share with you how I able to measure your emotions so that you are able to get into the right track. So with that, I've concluded my sessions. So now I'm pass on to Alicia, and we can open up for if there's any questions I can answer. Yes, please throw your question into your chat group.
Okay, now you can share your question if you have.
Any question? I think there's a question here I just saw. Are the profiling test psychometric is accurate? That was one of the questions that posted previously. Now, this is a very interesting question. Are the profiling test psychometric is accurate? I would dare to say that there are certain accuracy in any of the tests that's been created, right? Yet again, you got to make that choice when you look at the result, whether these results are facts to you or opinion. Right? So if you think that these are real facts, you'll take drastic action towards what you decided. If there's a trigger of being as an opinion side, that's where you feel very uncertainty. So you got to make that judgment whether the profiling test psychometric is accurate. But to me, I would prefer to have something like more towards biometric, that you do not require to answer any question. All you need is just keep quiet. They might collect from any part of your body because these are the feedback. Our body is a feedback mechanism. If you are able to decode the feedback mechanism from your body, right, chances are you will believe and you treat it more as a fact than opinion. Okay? Let's see, any more question over here? I think I must maybe four more. Okay, what question do we have? I tried many times assessment tools and I can predict the answer. Does it mean I know myself, and how do I know I make the right choice? Very good question. This is what I call self-aware. In fact, every one of us know ourselves a lot. Now, the question I ask is, why do you go and take all these why you want to go and experience lots of assessment tools? Potentially, my answer to you is, you just want a confirmation towards what's inside of you. Now, what if that assessment tools that you have experienced is not what's inside of you? Right? That will trigger a lot of emotional turbulence. And again, it's all about your choices, facts or opinion. Answer that? Another question is, how an organization leader manage the emotion of the employee to return to office? Great question. Now, I always believe that to work on others, you got to work on yourself. An organization leader that could work on yourself, that got to aware of themselves first. So, if the organization leader walk into the office, he or she are aware of the choices that he or she have made. And he or she got to manage their emotion. Otherwise, the same emotion turbulence are going to pass through to the employees. So I will encourage organization leader to look into their emotional being. Okay, one more question here. Where can I go to find out more of myself and what is there for me? Good question. There are many, search the internet. There are lots of information there, right? Or there are many tools out in the internet to find out more of myself and what is there for me, right? Engage a coach, right? So to upsell myself, I will say that go to the dicksonlab.com. You might be able to find more information or connect with our marketing team here, like Lasha, so that they will move you to the next level, right? And I spoken to the team. The team actually encouraged me, why not you, during this pandemic or this situation, are you willing to offer some session free to the participant? That is a good question. I say, why not? Right? So right after this session, you potentially will receive an email from our team. Just fill up the email, or there's a questionnaire, something like that, right? And there will be a question to say, do you want to have a free session with me, coaching session? So potentially, if time permits and if there's enough available slot, yes, I will do that. I believe, personally, I would like to actually empower more of you to move on with your journey. Right? Just take note of the email that's going to send out right after this. Okay, can you let us know how to create more self-awareness to make better choices? Now, tough question, and I know who is asking that question from India, because most can you let us know how to create more self-awareness to make better choices? Two things that you might want to look into yourself first, right? If you have not experienced any assessment tools, go and try it, right? Yet, when you have done a lot of assessment tools, look at the similarity of the result, right? So most of the assessment tools in the market, they might be able to show you certain common things inside of you. Right? Aware of that particular common things, and start asking yourself, right? Is it correct? Is it true? Is it, this is my being? Otherwise, the second option is I will encourage you to engage a real good coach. Now again, coach are different from mentor or consultant. Coach do not tell you how to do things. Coach is to reflect your being. When the coach are able to reflect your being, that's where you get a much deeper insight of you. So that could be two ways, two options you might want to look into it. And the third option is educate yourself. Go and learn new things. Unfortunately, you might not be able to fly here and there. Go and pick up more e-learning. In fact, during this webinar, I could not launch my e-learning platform. It's still under development. So once it's ready, my team will announce to the participant, right, what I call the university, the Dickson Lab University, which I have put most of my knowledge for the last 38 days onto the systems. Right? And you can go freely. Even I have put my coaching tools inside there. Some of you might say that I'm shy to connect with a coach. That's totally all right, because that is your being. You might want to go to my platform, right, and use the coaching tools for yourself. It was designed in such a way. There are many profiling tests available in the online. Do you have recommendation for better test profiling? Let me be a bit biased over here to this question. Go to the Dickson Lab. We have profiling tools, not profiling tools. This is assessment tools. We call it EmoWave. Right? Very unfortunate that it cannot be online. So you might want to connect with my team, right, and see how you can get it assessed. And this profiling tools is a bit unique. We are not asking you question. All you need is speak to the mic for 5 minutes, right? Any language, you can sing, you can laugh, you can cheer, and the result will come out. Okay. Now, let me continue the next question. What is Dr. tips for the very first time staff step into a workplace after long MCO? One sentence of motivation. Very good. Now, this question really challenged me. I can only say one sentence with 3 words. Actions creates clarity. No matter how the situation happens around you, take actions. Because there will be noises behind you. These are the noises that trigger your emotions. 3 words. Actions creates clarity. Take actions, the brightness of the future will surface. Question from Ganesh. Hi, Dickson. Honestly, during this MCO, I find myself being unhappy with my job despite joining this company last year. Is it too soon to feel as such, or is there anything I can do to balance my emotions and mindset? Lovely question. I still remember when I was working with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I always feel unhappy with the job. So I always ask myself, even during this pandemic, this MCO, there will be a lot of changes. Right? To empower your emotion and mindset, there are 3 ways. First, look at the environment you are in. If the environment you are empowered by more positive people, right, your mindset will be positive, will be more empowered. Unfortunately, this whole virus, COVID-19, have restricted us to connect with another human. So that environment might not be possible. And worst thing is, you're going to lock down in some very negative environment by facing 4 walls. And that's not very empowering. Right? Second, diet. Take care of your diet. Right? During this period, you got to stay healthy. Even right after the MCO, you still got to stay healthy. The old saying that, right, if you are able to survive, you will make a success. If you're not able to survive, you'll never get towards your destination. So you got to survive. The third thing that can change a person's mindset and empower the emotions is education. Go and learn something. Go and learn something that you never thought you will learn. Go and pick up more knowledge. So if you learn something that not relate to what you are doing now, potentially when you walk out from your home, when the movement control is released, right, you will have another new knowledge compared to your competitors or compared to whoever you are working with. So this is the best moment that you pick up new knowledge. Okay. Now, wow, that's a lot of questions. Okay, there's one from Sulhala. Can please explain a bit again meaning of anxiety during the part of awareness to a choice just now? Great. Now, anxiety is the opposite of depression. Right? Depression is thinking about the past. So the opposite of depression, the past, is future, which is called anxiety. Means that a person always think of the future, always try to predict the future. And challenge is no one can predict the future except our God. Yet when you ask our God, normally they don't answer me. So the only way is, right, you got to be firm. So anxiety is something that you pace the future, and the future makes you more worried. So that is anxiety. Okay, let me continue. Faiza, you say if you fill your glass with half full, it's good to just fill it up full. How do I know whether what I decided is right, and what if I feel like changing my decision? Yes, this is a perfect question. A lot of us thought that we are filling the glass only half full and we want to continue, which is really true. I have that situation, right? And realistically, I can never fill up my glass. Whenever I fill 3/4, I'll move on to the next glass. Now, and again, these are what we call awareness, right? You know yourself very well. You're self-aware of yourself. You're self-conscious. If you still have doubts, I still encourage you to go and look for a coach. Now, when you look for a coach, do not go and engage a coach that you know. You must find somebody that you do not know at all. Because if somebody knows you, right, there could be some bias. So go and look for a coach. Now, looking for a coach, sometimes not that difficult. You can just walk up to a leader and say that, I like you, can you just coach me? Right? You might be able to get some positive feedback. There's this question, Tamandran. Seems you are involved in Violet Flame KL movement. So far I have not participated a lot in Violet Flame for the last 1 year, because I've been developing a lot of my e-learning platform. So just to inform you on that. What is your opinion on theta healing method? Theta. Now, if I understand your question correctly, you're referring to the brainwave, right? Every human, they'll produce 5 types of brainwave, which is delta, theta, SMR, beta, right? Or alpha, right? Theta is a brainwave that get you into conscious and unconscious mind. Right? Yet, in the scientific point of view, right, this is the moment when you almost fall deep sleep, yet you're not asleep. Interesting, right? Now, this is the moment, yes. This is where, in scientific point of view, you are resting your body. And again, when you got into theta wave, either you go delta, which is a deep sleep, or you move on to alpha and you awake again. So I personally did not try theta healing method, so I could not give you any of my opinion. Now, there's a last question here from Felicia. What kind of skills and knowledge should I know during this MCO? And what kind of knowledge is useful in this society? Good question. What kind of skill and knowledge should I know during this MCO? Now, there are many opportunities out in the environment. Basically, my key question to you is, right, what are you good at? And where are you now? If you are good at certain skill, which classes have you filled up? And then make that choice of which classes you want to go towards. And very high potential, you will be able to find that realization inside of you. Just go through the same process of selecting the classes. Okay. Yes, Elisha, I have completed all the questions.
All right.
Pass on to you.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dickson, for the knowledge sharing session. So I hope we all get to learn something new through this session. Okay. If you have any inquiries, you can reach us at CZAC or the Dickson Lab. So we will send you out the following email where you can claim your certification and one-to-one consultation session. Okay. So have a nice day and thank you for attending our webinar. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Dickson. Since I cannot chat, I'm just speaking. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Nice
entire
to see you
team.
again.
Thank you, Dr. Fadia. Bye-bye.